Moving into our last story of the day, we got Wonder Woman here. Fox News reporter Jacqui Heinrich getting more questions in. She's going to ask a few questions off the top here, but I got to give her kudos because she asks a question about UFOs. There was a whistleblower that came out and said that we have alien craft that we've retrieved. We're going to cover the actual whistleblower and the interview on Supernatural Saturdays this Saturday. So be sure to check that one out. I haven't looked it up so you can get real-time reaction from me, but at least she has the courage here to ask because everybody's kind of laughing. And, you know, it's a tough one because there's that stigma about it. I'm not fully on board if UFOs are real or not. That's why we do Supernatural Saturdays to investigate all this stuff. If you haven't hopped on, have fun with us. We have a lot of fun on Supernatural Saturdays, but she asks a question here. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks. And, you know, hell, question for the comment section. Do you think UFOs are real? Do you think government's covering it up? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks, Karine. I want to ask about UFOs, but I have to ask about the border first. On the 11th Circuit ruling yesterday blocking quick releases of migrants, does the administration plan to appeal to the Supreme Court?
It's ongoing litigation, so certainly I'm not going to comment on that at this time.
If you're confused as to what that question was about, is that there was there was not a decision. There's a ruling that's being upheld right now by the lower courts, by the Biden administration, where the Biden administration wants to allow mass amount of migrants into the interior of the country without court dates. And so they wanted to keep it in the lower courts, and it seems like it's going to be escalated up higher and higher. That is insane to just let these people into the interior of the country without court dates. I mean, if you just want to, it's literally open borders at that point. Because some of these people aren't even coming back for their court dates. Things are so backlogged and insane right now because of what the Biden administration is doing. When Title 42 expired, like that day, their court dates were for 2027 and 2028, you guys. Like 4 to 5 years from now. That's what's going on. But, you know, they have it all figured out, you guys. The White House has everything figured out.
The New York City mayor floated plans to have migrants be housed with residents. Is that something the administration would support? And if that ends up becoming necessary, would that be a poor reflection on the administration's ability to manage this?
So I haven't seen those reports. I kind of saw some chyrons on the cable news network, I think yours, coming out to the podium. What I can say is that we have been in touch with the interior cities, right? The cities like New York City, like Chicago and others who are dealing with this issue. And we've had conversations with them. We are in touch with them. As you know, there is more than $200 million in funding that has gone to these interior cities. A majority of that has gone to New York City, but just not going to speak to the mayor's policies. I just don't know enough about it to speak to it at this time.
And
How is that possible? I'm a guy in a freaking closet and I know all about this. He's literally filed like a state of emergency and asked for federal aid of like upwards of like over $1 billion. This has been going on for months. The guy's been on a freaking camera left and right. I mean, when this all started happening, we covered it here all the time. I'm sure many of you know the story of how he literally asks residents to start housing migrants. That was months and months ago that we talked about that. What are you talking about that you haven't heard about this? I'm so tired of the White House going, well, we didn't know. You hear from John Kirby, you hear from, well, Joe Biden one makes sense. I mean, he literally doesn't know what the hell's going on. But outside of him, and maybe a few other crazies in there, they know what's going on. They don't want to admit it. She's going to sit there and go, well, I didn't know about that. Oh, I don't know. But at least she didn't give that whole spiel of like, oh, where the political pawns are being bussed there and all these other things. But New York City wants to house illegal immigrants because they don't have space. It's literally crippling their infrastructure. Okay? They don't have the money for it. So, you know, hey, they're getting what they wanted.
Retirements upcoming, the border chief and the ICE chief. Is that going to impact the administration's ability to manage the border in the near term?
So look, from what I understand, their retirements has been planned for some time now, and so just going to leave that piece to them, and certainly they can speak to their retirement. What I can speak to is what we have seen these past couple of weeks since Title 42 has been lifted. We've seen legal migration go down significantly, and that's because of the plan that this president has put forward.
Legal migration
has been lifted. We have seen legal migration go down significantly. And that's because of the plan that this president has put forward. You think about diplomacy, you think about deterrence, you think about making sure that we're expanding legal pathways. That's what the president and his administration has been able to do, and that's why we have seen such a decline at the border. And I think that speaks to the president's leadership and what he's been able to do with his team, and I think that's incredibly important. Good.
She's going to ask the UFO question here, but lady, it's more of a Trump's policy that you reinstituted, okay? About seeking asylum in a country before you come to the United States, or else you're going to be deported. That is a Trump era policy that you removed in like the first week of office. So now that you're putting Trump's policies back into place, you wouldn't even say the word Trump, by the way, when she actually talked about it. So they just referred it to an old rule. That was kind of the language they used. They even cite Trump. That is a Trump policy, because we all know the Democrats would go crazy. So it's racist when Trump does it. It's not racist when they do it. I mean, that whole spiel, we all know how that one works. But I love Jacqui Heinrich keeping the immigration news headline alive. That's what we need to do, along with what's going on with the targeting of our children in these corporations like Target, Kohl's, Anheuser-Busch, and others. We got to keep it alive, folks. We can't let up on these boycotts. Here's a UFO question, and kudos to her for having the courage to ask this question.
Real quick though, this whistleblower report alleging that the U.S. military's been retrieving craft of non-human origin for at least several decades. Are we alone? And if we were not, would you even tell us?
I would refer that question to the Department of Defense and let them answer that question for you. Go ahead.
That's crazy that she won't answer it. It's so odd to me. One, again, I love that Jacqui's laughing, and I think we get more of her personality. We'll kind of see that in and out of my real personality as the show goes. Check out Supernatural Saturdays. I mean, that's my real personality, acting weird and fun and goofy and all that fun stuff. But do you guys think UFOs are real? Again, we talk a lot about this a lot on our Saturday episodes. UFOs, ghosts, the paranormal, the supernatural. That's what it's called. You got the Bob Lazar stories. You got Commander Fravor of the Nimitz literally engaging with a Tic Tac, is what he called it, or a UFO that goes from higher than 80,000 feet to sea level in a second. I don't know what technology you think we have that can do that, but then you have Dr. Greer on the other end that's coming out with a huge disclosure, I guess June 10th in a few days, about all this stuff that claims that, hey, part of it is actual extraterrestrial craft, and the other part is us re-engineering this stuff, and it's just man-made. So there's a lot of different stories and puzzle pieces going around. You got Lou Elizondo talking about this stuff as well. I mean, I love the UFO conversation, folks. I'm really deep into it. Again, I'm not one of those people that I'm all just hell-bent over. I find it fascinating. I find it interesting. I love conspiracy theories, but I don't necessarily just believe in all of them. I just like the idea of a lot of this stuff. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think UFOs are real? We'd love to hear from you, folks. No judgment here, okay? If you do, you do. If you don't, you're down. It's not a big deal. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.